Since this will be the final class trial, I've come up with a special rule. So listen up. If you can figure out Murkuro's killer and go on to solve the mystery of the school, you guys win. But if you can't, then I win. And of course, waiting for the loser is a super exciting, super heart-pounding punishment. Are you saying that if we lose, you'll execute yourself? Yep, sure will. And if that's final, no loopholes, no wiggling out later? Of course not. Bears never go back on their word. Like, never mind that. I just have one question for you, man. Oh, are you taking this serious, huh? Are you feeling okay? Is the mastermind only one person, man? Like, don't bother. I already know the answer. You're all the mastermind, aren't you? You're all out to get me, man. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it. Dun, dun, right into it, baby. Dun, 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 dun. Like, you guys have all been working together, haven't you? I have evidence, so I know I'm right. Hey, you stole my line. You're all out to get me. I'm sure of it. I have evidence of my own. What a coincidence. I too have evidence to present. Evidence that proves everyone other than me has been working together. What? Wait, hold on, man. That doesn't make any sense. Here, I can see the three of us in the pictures. It's not just you three. I have evidence too. What? You two? The evidence that you're all referring to is the group photo, right? Well, yeah. Huh? Wait, but mine's different. With the picture you have, I'm not in it. Or I'm in it. But that can't be right, because in my picture, I'm not in it, right? See, I'm the only one not in it. Meaning whoever Monokuma gave us pictures of the one that we took it for. So when he gave me a picture, it's when I took the picture. When he gave Hina the group picture, she took the picture. I figured as much. In which case, Hiro, you have a picture too, right? Let's see it. Okay, but be careful with it. It's pretty important evidence, man. He's the only one not in it. This one too. It's just like I thought. So the secret to these pictures has been revealed. Secret or whatever, I don't care. You guys are all in it together. That's why I'm the only one missing, man. But you're in my picture. You're the ones trying to trick me. So the whole purpose behind these photos was to get us questioning and fighting each other. The mastermind laid a trap to make us think everyone else was working against us. Huh? Laid a trap? A trap? How rude! What grounds do you have for such audacious accusations? The proof I need to reveal Monokuma's trap. Each photo has a certain something in common. There's a connection regarding what person isn't shown in the group photos. And that person is the one who got them, right? The ones who got the photos. In that case, the only one not in the picture is the person who received it. So I'm in the picture. I'm not in the picture. In the picture I got, I'm the only one missing. In the picture Hina got, she's the only one missing. And in the picture Hiro got, he's the only one missing. As long as we're talking about it, I suppose I should show you my photo as well. Oh, hey, I like that one. In other words, Monokuma gave each of us a group photo. Oh, and that makes sense. No, and think about it. It makes sense. With a pool setting, do you think Byakuya is going to fucking get naked and go into a pool? No, he's going to be the one taking the picture. But you know, there might be more to this than just Monokuma trying to confuse us. There's something else that bothers me about everyone's picture. What is it? What's digging at me? Listen, can I see everyone's group photo one more time? It's not directly connected to what we're talking about, but I'd like to double check something. Sure, no problem, man. Yeah, I don't mind. I'm sure there's something unusual about these group photos. What is it? I need to compare each one of them one more time. Byakuya's picture. Also, what the fuck? I just noticed, is that Sakura punching like a fucking giant salmon? What the fuck is that? Like, it looks like a dick fish. Hina's picture, Hiro's picture, and mine. Dots. There's something strange about all of them. Something I can't quite pin down. Something. Group photo. Can you just like forget about the photo already, man? Trying to pick at me with such an obviously fake photo. I'm still pissed about that, man. And on top of that, they went to all the trouble to make it look like we were wearing matching uniforms. So you think they're fake? No, no, no. I assure you, they're quite real. What are you talking about? There's no way. Yeah, I don't remember ever taking a picture like that, man. So it's gotta be fake. I'm sure of it. But you know, can we really be so sure? Huh? Don't get me wrong. I don't remember taking this picture either, but is it really enough to be absolutely positive they're fake? What do you mean? The reason I don't quite remember the picture isn't necessarily because it's fake. There might be some other reason, some terrible reason, an unbelievable but entirely horrific reason. Hangman's Bambit. We all had amnesia! The Dark Descent. Let's say that somehow we'd all lost our memories. That could explain it, couldn't it? Oh, I get it. So we just lost our memories at the same time and forgot about the photo. Makes sense, man. As if you expect me to believe such an unbelievably occult type story, man. Yeah, we all lost our memories. That's just crazy. It's only natural that they wouldn't believe it. But no matter how much they refuse, if that's the absolute truth, they have no choice. We can't move forward until they accept it. Ever since I got to this school, I remember everything. No, you don't. Sorry, Chicago. Those photos aren't the only things that point to the possibility of memory loss. This DVD does the same thing. You're not gonna show us something indecent, are you? No, it's nothing like that. It's a video of all of us being interviewed by the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster. When you say all of us, you mean... I mean all of us, including you. You lie! I never did any kind of interview. No, it's not a lie. Just watch the DVD and you'll see for yourself. The headmaster did, in fact, interview you. Dots. What are you saying? I didn't imagine you would remember. It's not that whether or not I remember. You expect me to believe all this? That I lost my memory somehow? Well, we don't have any other way to refute it, so we have to no choice but to accept it as reality. How can you say that? We're talking about living, breathing amnesia here, man. To be honest, I have something else on my mind right now. Something else? You said the DVD contains recordings of us being interviewed by the headmaster, right? What were the interviews about? The headmaster sat each of us down one at a time and asked us the same question. He asked us if we could accept the idea of us spending the rest of our lives in this school. What kind of question is that? And how did we answer? We'd say no, obviously. Actually, we all said we could. Even me. I heard myself say yes. I could spend the rest of my life in this school. Why? Why would you say something like that? I don't know. I don't remember anything. The same goes for everyone else. Nobody remembers. You don't remember choosing to live here forever or even talking to the headmaster about it all. It doesn't matter if I remember or not, man. Even if I bought the whole amnesia thing, the idea that I'd want to live here forever, man. That's just insane. How could I believe that? Insane or not, you can't move forward until you accept it. Am I right? And sure, you sure are, because it's all true. What? It sounds absurd, but if it's the truth, there's nothing we can do about it. Indeed, we only have one path in front of us. Then we really... Yep, you all totally lost your memory at the same time. This is all making my head hurt. And this isn't like some normal kind of memory loss. You stole those specific memories from us, didn't you? Oopsie, you figured that part out too, huh? Of course, there's no way we would all just happen to get amnesia at the same time. But how could someone just steal our memories? How? Come. That hardly matters right now. If I said it was hypnosis...
Hypnotism? Would you believe me? Or we open up your skulls and mess with your brains? Would you really believe anything I said? How it happened doesn't matter right now.
What matters is figuring out what memories you took from us. That's what you're trying to say, right?
I knew I could count on you.
The interview with the headmaster, taking that group photo, those can't be the only memories we lost. There must be a purpose to it all, a reason for taking away our memories.
Of course there was a purpose. It all has to do with the original motive.
The original motive? You mean the motive you came up with to try to get us all to kill each other? That has something to do with the memories you stole from us.
It sure does. But that part's still a secret. Anyway, I'm sure it's not easy, but let's all focus on the class trial for the murder of Murkuro Ikasaba.
Okay, so we want to figure out who killed her before we do anything else. So until we do that, well, either way, we have to explain every last remaining mystery. So, the one who killed Murkuro, the true mastermind, that's what I need to expose. What does make me so sure? You don't even know? Exactly, you're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is here. The mastermind would have to be 1,000,000 miles away. Sorichikando! There's no question that the mastermind is somewhere within the school. How do you know? Did you find some evidence or something? In the back of the data center, I found a panel that controls Monokuma. The mastermind must have been using that to control him all this time. So there can't be a doubt. The mastermind has been inside the school all along. There can't be any doubt. In which case, there can be no doubt that the mastermind is one of us. Rather than wasting time bickering, we should put our minds to work solving this mystery. Well, yeah, how much time we have already spent talking about the murder, man? He's right. What more is there to talk about? If you want something to talk about, I think there might be one thing. We haven't fully established what Murkuro's fatal injury was. Huh? But I thought we figured that out. She died when she got hit in the back of the head. No, that actually wasn't what killed her. It was something entirely different. Wouldn't you agree, Makoto? Mukuro's actual cause of death was the other wounds. The ones that were several days old. All the other wounds covering her body, that's what really killed her. Wait, hold on a sec. You did read the Monokuma file, right, man? The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. It made it pretty clear. Those wounds were made at least a few days ago, man. So they could possibly what killed her. Consider this. What if the murder itself took place at least a few days ago? What? What if we discovered her body? She had already been dead for several days. If that's true, then naturally the wounds that killed her would appear to be however many days old. That doesn't make any sense. Because she had all those wounds before she ever came here. Huh? How do you know that? Isn't it obvious? She was the ultimate soldier, right? So that means, you know, no! Her profile states that she never suffered a wound. She was that strong. You're wrong. She denied me before I could even say anything. Come on, I mean, you think I'm not weird, okay? At least listen to what I have to say before you deny me. If you're so sure we're gonna deny you, why bother saying it in the first place? So, when you think about it, she must have suffered countless wounds in battle. She was strong. She was a strong, independent woman who didn't get scars. No, Murkuro didn't suffer those wounds in battle. The file we found in the headmaster's room said that much. Despite the time she spent in battle after battle as a member of Fenrir, when she entered the school, she hadn't sustained a single injury. To be denied so completely, actually, it's kind of refreshing. Maybe it's because of all Master's training. Gosh. Anyway, so can we be sure that Murkuro suffered all those wounds after coming to this school? In which case, they could be the very thing that killed her. As a matter of fact, it's hard to imagine any other possibility. When examining her body, I found that her stomach and head wounds came after she was already dead. Unless anyone has any better suggestions, I think we can say with this with confidence. The wounds Murkuro sustained all over her body are what ultimately killed her. Murkuro's fatal injury. But if that's what killed her, man, then does that mean she's really been dead for who knows how long? That's exactly what it means. We found her body in the garden. She'd already been dead for several days. So then, what about the little matter of what happened last night? Makoto, you said you were attacked in your room by a masked assailant. The actual mastermind. If Murko had already been dead for several days, certainly it couldn't have been her. So, who was it that attacked you? The identity of who attacked me, I can't think of anything else but the headmaster. But Murko, she killed me. She tried to kill me while she was dead. The one who attacked me was the true mastermind. When we discovered Murko in the garden wearing the same mask, I naturally assumed she had to be the one that attacked me, but I was wrong. It wasn't her at all. It was the mastermind. Yeah! Yeah! What are you laughing at?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little impatient sitting here and listening. I think I'm gonna jump in. Let's start off with a nice, easy question. Your assumption that I attacked Makoto is just right. An assumption. You can't actually know who was under the mask, can you? I mean, that's the whole point of the mask. The true identity of the masked attacker is Murko Ikasaba. At least, that's what I think. Do you have any evidence that might convince me otherwise?
The tattoo on her hand. No, there's no way Murko was the one that attacked me. There was no tattoo on her hand when they were attacking me. Even if I didn't see their face, I saw their hands. Right there, the one holding the knife, it's supposed to have a tattoo. If you compare what you know about Murko to the masked attacker, it should be obvious. Whoever attacked me, they didn't have something Murko definitely had. That's what it said, okay. That should be proof enough that the one who attacked me isn't Murko.
You never saw their face, right? You had no idea who was under the mask. The one who was Murko Ikasaba.
Sorchigaldo! Murko had a tattoo on her right hand, if I remember correctly, a representation of Fenrir. In other words, a wolf tattoo. But I saw the right hand of the person who attacked me, and there was no such tattoo. So there's no way the person behind the mask was Murko.
Yeah, well, okay, you got me. I guess it wasn't her. But that still doesn't prove it was me. It could have been, you know, someone else, right?
Hiro, Toka, Hina, and I have solid alibis for the entire night. Yeah, we were in the gym tearing you apart, so it couldn't have been any of us, man.
Okay, sure, it couldn't have been any of you. But what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her.
Dots.
Uh-oh, no snappy comeback? Did I score a bullseye?
Dots. If you insist, I don't mind showing you.
Huh? Show me what?
What do you think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me. Before anyone could say anything. Oh. Her hands are all crispy. Kyoko was removing her gloves. Your hands! Without thinking, I let out a gasp. It was more than just a little burned skin. Awful, isn't it? It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced. I touched the Bunsen burner. Like, what? What were you touching that fucked your hands up that bad? I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars. If it means to get another step closer to unmasking the mastermind, it doesn't bother me, really. I mean, I'll still hold your hands, girl. They're pretty cute. Kyoko seemed to savor those words as she said them. But she put her gloves back on. Then she put her gloves back on. My scars would suffice as proof. Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine? No, not at all. I'm positive. Then as that much has been made clear, there can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true mastermind. Dots.
This is just awful. On top of my secret being revealed, I have to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours. Ah, sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Not at all. You can say whatever you want.
Sure, as long as it means pushing me further into a corner, right? But I'm not cornered just yet. Because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Murko's death are totally unknown.
That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning. On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that, man. You're not going to tell us that she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here.
Then somehow she was killed in secret without any of us knowing. Like after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right, man? Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she? If she was, she would have been totally decomposed, just like your brain. Then she was being stored somewhere? But to hide a body here is to just store it somewhere? There's only one place I can think of anywhere else but there. The bile, the pool, the kitchen. Nobody goes in there, right? Murkuro's body was probably kept hidden in the bio lab. The bio lab? You mean on the 5th floor? That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue. So it makes perfect sense. It makes the perfect place to hide a body, and it'd keep the body preserved all this time. Then you're also saying the body was moved from the bio lab to the garden. And I have no doubt that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof. The proof that shows the body was carried from the bio lab to the garden. Was it the tarp, right? Because the tarp came from the bio lab. What makes me so sure that the body was carried from the bio lab to the garden is the tarp we found in the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped onto the corner of the tarp. Oh, it says biolab. Holy cow, how'd you notice that tiny little thing, man? Makoto's nitty-picky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing. This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab.
But that's just a wild guess! Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped up in the tarp and moved.
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened.
But
it seemed you getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it?
Are you talking about unmasking the mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency, one so major it can't be overlooked. The lights! There's a 7th unmarked light, meaning there is someone else still alive. An inconsistency in the biolab? Could you be talking about
la la la, I can't hear you, la la la?
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him. I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about Final strike.
La la la, I can't hear you, la la la.
The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. As part of that, the giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored. And it was set up so when the slot had a body in it, the blue light would turn on. In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot. Well, thanks for that observation, Sherlock. But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Murkuro was in, and there were only 9. Why does that matter? You gotta give me a bite-sized version here, man. 9 lights doesn't make sense. The number of lights there should be is 10 for every dead person. 10 lights should be on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious. Suspicious? Why? It's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear. That's right. That's the key to solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Junko was second. Leon was third. Chihiro was fourth. Mondo was fifth. Taka was sixth. Hifumi was seventh. Celeste was 8th. Sakura was 9th. And the victim number 10 was Murkuro. So 10 people in all? That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. Since there's only 9, that means someone else is still alive. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people are being stored there. You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared? I got it! The Mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence. Why would they do that? But if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Murkuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone. then whose body disappeared? A body didn't disappear, sweetheart. It may very well be that none of them disappeared. But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match? Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths, but there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make. Oh yeah, baby, that means not one of them disappeared. It means one of them was reused. I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders? The reason there are less bodies than murders, the explanation for more murders than victims, why is that? Why would that be the case? The same person was killed twice! What about if the same person was killed twice? Huh? Killed twice? Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far, but one of the victims may have been murdered and then murdered again. Murdered and murdered again? If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right? Technically, you're right, I guess, but still, something like that could easily have happened. No, it is what happened. Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who exactly was killed twice? It was Murkuro, of course. Before she was killed as Murkuro Ikasaba, she was killed as someone else. Someone from the beginning of the game who didn't match their description profile. I questioned it at the beginning of the game, and she played it off as Photoshop. And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden. No, no, no. That's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on. Besides, who could that someone else have been? All you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that'll become clear. Nothing's gonna become obvious, because Kyoko's totally delusional. Sayaka Miyazono? Junko Enoshima? Leon Kawada? Chihiro Fujisaki? Mondo Owada? Kiyotaka Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada? Celestia? Luda whatever? Sakura Ogami? No, no, no! There's no way anyone was murdered twice! Tsuruichi Junko. Wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Murkuro's? What do you mean? She was stabbed all over. Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears all over her body. And Murkuro died from a number of wounds across her body. When you compare it to the stab wounds Junko suffered, then the similarities match. Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those two bodies are actually one and the same. So let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears. Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again. Only this time, it was to pretend as the corpse of one Murkuro Ikasaba. All it matches up, right? Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries. Well, it's really true. Murkuro and Junko are the same person, man. Wait, so then, what does it all mean? It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9, which also means that among the people we have thought were dead, 1 is still alive. And that's the true identity of the Mastermind. Like, who is it? Who's behind all this? Well, let me just say this. We confirmed that Murkuro is without a doubt the one that's dead, and if she was pretending to be Junko, we already know the answer to that. It's Murkuro. She's still alive. Are you fucking high? She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died. So Murkuro's still alive. She's gotta be. Dots. Total silence. Then I must be right. I'm right, aren't I? Murkuro alive? The one that's still alive is Murkuro? But can we really believe that? Murkuro is still alive. Can I really believe that? The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Murkuro. Tsuruichi Gando! No, the body we found in the garden was Murkuro. It's the only thing we can be sure of. The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko? She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32. Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse. Then there's the matter of the Fenrir tattoo. So there's no question it wasn't her. But if Murkuro's not the mastermind, then who's actually still alive? Someone's made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. There's only one person it could be. The person she dressed as, and the person who fucking has been doing this whole shit this entire time. If I can find a picture, Junko Enoshima! Junko is still alive. That's the only possibility. Dots. Are you sure about that? Huh? I admit, since Murkuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes. That's not Junko! That is Murkuro dressing as her! That's why I questioned her at the very beginning of the game when we were all introducing ourselves. She didn't look like her profiles and she faked it like it was Photoshop. But it really wasn't her. If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would have to be some kind of charade. It was. But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not? Now that you mention it, I gently placed my hand on Junko's lifeless body. I touched her wrist to check for the pulse, like they do in those movies and stuff, but she really is dead. There wasn't anything else to say. She was gone. I did check, absolutely. I can say for sure. She was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead. So the idea that she's still alive, it must be wrong. Then you're withdrawing your previous statement?
I know it gave you your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud. Yeah, too bad, too bad.
This case hasn't been decided just yet.
Oh?
You haven't given up already, have you, Makoto? Huh? No, of course not. There's no way I'd give up that easy. That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Murkuro absolutely died.
Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of...
Did we seriously just forget that we confirmed the way they died matches up? So can we not assume that Murkuro was just dressing as her and died that day? Because that was several days ago. And the bodies match. Junko is still alive. I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction. Huh? The opposite direction? Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived? How could Junko have survived? I checked her. She was dead. I'm sure of it. But still, if she were alive somehow, could that be Junko's not the one that died? It wasn't Junko, but someone else entirely? Maybe she used some sort of trick. It was Murkuro disguised as her. She was replaced with Murkuro. That's it. What if she switched places with someone else? Switched places? That's right. Before the spears could kill her, she got someone to take her place. Specifically, Murkuro Ikasaba. Then that would make it Murkuro's corpse that showed up later. Which is why the body's height and weight and everything matched Murkuro's profile, right? I don't know anything about this switching places thing, but... that had to be Junko who got stabbed to death, right, man? That's what they wanted us to think. Yeah, you're saying they switched? When could they have done that? At the very beginning, before we ever even introduced ourselves. Right when she was about to die. Like she had some kind of ninja replacement technique. Good point. There's no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong. There has to be some way. I need to figure out how to explain that. They switched from the very beginning. They were playing each other. The two of them. They may have switched places from the very beginning. What? From the beginning? Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched. Then they wouldn't have to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Murkuro. Hold on, so you're saying the Junko we first met was actually Murkuro all along, man? Then we'd already met her? I had, like, a normal conversation with her. When we first met, none of us knew who anyone else was. So Murkuro could have simply told us her name was Junko. And we never would have known the difference. That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning. Wait, but Murkuro had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right? It could have just been covered up with makeup. Junko never had a tattoo like that, did she? I mean, she wore makeup anyway and fake nails. She could have hidden that with foundation or something like that. If she did, it likely melted away in the explosion, exposing the tattoo after the body was extinguished. Plus, there were fake nails found on her hands of Murkuro's body. Something an Ultimate Soldier shouldn't have, and also someone we've seen wear fake nails. They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we first met her at that time. But if she really did use foundation, correct, even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Murkuro. So I'm glad nobody knows that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto. But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore. Dots. Wait, so the whole thing was a setup from the very beginning? If that's true, then it was quite an elaborate plan. To be sure, making it look like Murkuro was Junko. Dots. The reason such an elaborate plan was possible is because the two of them were working together. So Murkuro, the Ultimate Despair, teamed up with someone like her. In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was the Ultimate Despair. What's wrong? Lost your will to fight back? I think he's just afraid.
Afraid? What's that supposed to mean, afraid? Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me.
Then why haven't you been saying anything?
Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity? Oop, boop, boop, as if.
As if, because it's true. Then why did you try to protect Junko's real identity? While I was in the AV room watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster, it wasn't just the monitor. The DVD player itself had apparently turned off, which of course meant the DVD wasn't playing anymore. What the heck just happened?
Oopsie, looks like it broke, out of service.
What? It just so happened to break just now?
Now, then, when, doesn't matter. Failure can strike anywhere, anytime. That's what failure is, right?
He cut the power before we could see her video. You made sure I wouldn't finish watching the video, and the reason you did that is because you didn't want me to see the real Junko, didn't you? Oh yeah, if Herman was in that video, of course Junko would have had to show up. And if Makoto saw the real Junko, it would have been totally obvious that the Junko we met was an imposter.
That whole power outage thing was just a fluke.
No, it wasn't a fluke. The Mastermind definitely orchestrated the power outage. And that's not the only time they tried to hide Junko's identity. The Mastermind tried to cover up one other piece of evidence I got that was revealed. Final strike. The group photo.
I tried to protect her identity?
There's another thing that all those photos had in common. The video wasn't the only thing you tried to cover up. You did the same thing with the group photo.
Oh, what?
I noticed it just a little while ago when we were all comparing the photos we'd gotten. All the photos, there's a certain similarity, an unusual circumstance.
What's so unusual about them?
The unusual circumstance in common with all these pictures. Bam. In the left. Up in the right corner. Taka's elbow. You can't see her face! Junko's face. The one thing in common to every single photo is that you can't see her face. The water's getting splashed on her. She's turned around again. Taka's covering it up. It's hard to believe her face would just happen to be hidden in every single picture, don't you think? And on top of that, in this photo, you can see that Murkuro is clearly visible. So in other words, at that point, the two of them hadn't switched yet. With all that in mind, there's no doubt that the girl whose face is hidden here is the real Junko, which is why you had those pictures that didn't show her face. Because if we were to see her face, then it would have clearly revealed that Junko in these pictures wasn't the Junko that we knew.
Zanu!
I believe everything Makoto said is true. Junko and Murkuro switched places before we met either of them. So she killed Murkuro, who had taken her place, making it look like she died, and the real Junko is still alive. And she's the one behind the whole murderous situation, this killing game. She's the true mastermind, the ultimate despair.
Zanu times 2?
With this, the identity and the crimes of the mastermind have been exposed.
No, wait, hold on!
Don't bother trying to deny it. There's no more room for debate, so you don't have anywhere left to run. I'll prove everything right now. Closing argument. There's 2 panels I'm kind of fuzzy on, so if I fuck it up, I hope I didn't fuck it up, but here we go. We met the ultimate fashionista, Junko Enoshima, right after we all arrived here. But that wasn't the real Junko. The girl we saw before us was actually the 16th student who had taken Junko's place, and that girl's name was Murkuro Ikasaba. But it wasn't long before she died at the hands of Monokuma. In other words, the mastermind, Junko Enoshima. Her body was kept in the biolab, which had been converted into a morgue, until Junko decided to put her body to use. Junko dragged the body out of the biolab, using the tarp to carry her to the garden. She fabricated the murder to try and frame Kyoko, who'd proven to be one big thorn in her side. Meanwhile, she wanted all of us to think Murkuro was still alive, and hiding somewhere inside the school. So she put on a mask and then attacked me. After making sure I'd gotten a good look at the mask, she left the room. Then she put the same mask on Murkuro's body. This was all to make us think the person who attacked me and the corpse were one and the same. She wanted us to believe that the murder had only recently taken place. Finally, by strapping a bomb to the body, she was able to destroy any remaining evidence. She needed to hide the body's true identity. She had to make sure we didn't find out who it was, actually the same person we'd met at the beginning. This is the truth behind Murkuro's murder, and the one who carried it all out is the true mastermind, the one controlling Monokuma. The real Junko Enoshima. Complete! That's the whole story behind the incident. Well, what do you have to say to that? How about that? How about them apples? Dots. Triple dots. Pentadots. What? Are you broken again? More dots. You can't get out of this. So don't even try. Dots. Come on! It's time you finally revealed yourself, man! Dots. It's not like you're an endangered species or something. How long do you plan on keep hiding? Dots. Give up, Junko. The game's over. More dots.
Over? Did you really think the story would come to an end once we reached the climax of this case? Wrong! There's still plenty more to go.
Shabang! It's really her! Junko Enoshima, the ultimate despair. We have been waiting so very long for peasants like you to appear. If you swear your fealty to us, we will reward you with half the entire world. We've even drawn up the deed already. We'll grant you your honor, status, and some of our home cooking. Have you made your choice? Will you serve under us? No thanks. Oh, did you think I was being serious? Sorry, I was just messing with you. It's been long since I've had an audience, even I'm not sure what kind of role I'm supposed to play. This is the Mastermind? She's the real Junko Enoshima? Anyway, looks like I've finally been set free, having to play Monokuma all the time, day after day. It was like I was stuck in purgatory, or like a slow suicide. I get bored so easy, you know? Your face! Huh? What about my face? What's wrong with my beautiful face? People have told me I'm cuter than 100 chihuahuas combined. I feel like that isn't the first time I've seen you. No, I do remember seeing it. I'm sure I've seen her somewhere. Before arriving at the school, in the magazines. That's right. It was before I ever came to the school. I remember seeing a magazine cover. And that, she really looked like that. And you were in it. Wow, you have a pretty good memory. I guess that's why you've made it this far, huh? So I was right. Then what you told me in the main hall when this all began, it's all Photoshop. I've seen tons of magazine covers, but I feel like this doesn't quite match up to reality. Huh? Oh, you're like talking about my cover photos and junk. Well, of course, those are all totally Photoshopped. Photoshopped? Yeah, you know, edited to hell and back, like with like computers and junk. Oh, so they aren't real? Sometimes a little lie is necessary to keep things moving along, wouldn't you agree? I'm me, and Murkuro is Murkuro. She tried her best, but there's just no way she could have passed as the ultimate fashionista. Two people can never become one as long as the walls of mind and body exist. Not even if they're twins. Twins? I know. It's such a cliche, right? I'm almost embarrassed to admit it. So basically, Murkuro and I have a stereotypical twin relationship. I could tell by the eyes. The older sister, tough and proud, that was Murkuro. The younger sister, smart and cute, that was me. Me, Junko fucking Enoshima! And together, we were the Despair Sisters, aka the ultimate despair. Whoa, she's like a totally different person now. Like I said, I get bored easy as hell. I even get fucking bored with myself. But if you're twins, why do you have different last names? That again? Do you have any idea how many times people ask me about that shit? Maybe it's new to your dumbass, but it bores me into tears. Answering the same questions over and over. Just make up whatever answer you want. I don't give a shit. The truth's fucking lame anyway. But if she was your twin, that means you killed your own sister. And for reasons deeper and darker than the ocean. Ha! As if! Well, I suppose it's better to explain. For my plan to work, someone must have been able to control the killing game from behind the scenes. The so-called Mastermind had to operate Monokuma, keep an eye on everyone, things like that. But after looking at the situation, I determined it would be impossible for Murkuro to perform such duties, because naturally, she turned out to be a letdown out of the family, leaving me behind to run off and join some random mercenaries. Such a disappointment. So I decided to play the role of the director and have her join the rest of you in your school life. I could have let her work alongside me, but she would have been useless to me that way. Besides, 15 students seemed to be a solid number with a start. Of course, the fact that she was the ultimate soldier posed something of a problem. She had what I call 3 atrocities: atrociously ranked, atrociously filthy, atrociously repulsive. It was atrociously clear that how out of touch she was with the rest of society. Meanwhile, the ultimate fashionista status was an undeniable appeal that I didn't want to go to waste. That's why, I just voice cracked, that's why you switched the identities. Sadly, her inability to match her personality was even greater than I calculated. I was at a lost cause. She was nothing more than a bit player, an extra unworthy of lines. Being an utter disappointment that she was, anyone could have expected her to get killed off right away, which is precisely why I killed her, to meet everyone's expectations. That can't be your reason, can it? Well, no, of course not. I also did avoid becoming bored. I've never been a stickler for following a plan to the letter, you know? If I planned everything out and knew just what it was gonna happen, that'd be so boring. So I changed things just a bit and decided to use Murkuro to make a little point. In other words, Murkuro's death was one-sided, premeditated act of betrayal. Just as I suspected, when Murkuro was killed, she must have been as surprised as anyone else. That's why she was like all freaked out. She was like, why me? This wasn't supposed to. Why me? So you figured it out? Well, you're right. There's no way Murkuro could have pulled off such a convincing performance.
but she did teach us all a very valuable lesson, don't you think?
Dots. How can you talk like that? You sacrificed your own sister. How does that not even bother you?
What? Sacrificed her? That's what you got so hot under the collar? Jeez, misunderstandings sure are scary. We were the ultimate despair, you know, so we never had any kind of hope or expectations. No, I felt despair as long as I can remember, like I never should have been born at all. When I was born, I cried tears of total despair, so that's why for us, it's no big deal whether we die or kill. We're just those kinds of people. We can do anything. We've always been filled with despair, so when we do something, we all gotta do it the way we live, without regret.
So you just murdered your own sister and didn't think anything of it? That's not true at all. We were twins. How could I not be sad? That's why it gets me so excited. Huh? You don't look very excited. Killing my precious sister with my own 2 hands. That act is filled with so much despair. You can't help but put a super in front of it. It's like super, 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 super despair. No, more than that. Super, 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 super despair. It just feels so good. What the hell is wrong with you, man? And my sister too. In the moment of death, I think she must have felt that despair. After all, to be murdered by your own sister, and only as an example to someone else, she must have died feeling such excruciating hopeless. I'm so jealous of her. Super jealous. I knew you couldn't just be some ordinary person. You're some kind of abnormality. Turning your own despair into some kind of fetish. Abnormality doesn't even begin to describe it. Oh shit, so that means if I turn my toe fetish into some fucking fucked up shit, I'm an abnormality. Like, Genocide Jill is crazy for sure, but this is a whole nother level of nuts, man. You're saying I don't compare to some lowly beast that can only kill the weak, right? I'm so hopelessly attractive, hopelessly brilliant, hopelessly athletic. I'm so hopelessly perfect, ultimate human. No, I don't think there's anything perfect about anything you just said. Yeah, hell yeah for Mr. Perfect over there for calling you out. Yeah, Master's way more perfect because on top of everything else, he's got a noble blood. Huh? Do you mean had that noble blood? What did you just say? What do you mean by that?
Oop, boop, boop, boop. You still haven't figured out that part out yet? Man, you guys are so slow. You haven't even solved all the mysteries, and yet here you are, yapping away.
Are you talking about our memories?
You already solved the mystery, right? I'm the killer. So now, how about the next one? Maybe you should solve the riddle of your missing memories. Then you can start gloating.
Damn straight. That's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna solve all the mysteries, and then we'll have our victory.
Oop, boop, boop, boop. I can't wait.
Alrighty then, my weeaboos. That's gonna do it for this one. Hope you all enjoyed that. I'm stopping it here because this almost is like a 2-part trial. Because you first uncover the mastermind, and then you gotta solve all the other mysteries. So it's kind of like I know I like ended it abruptly, but yeah, it's gonna do it for that one. Did you get it right? I'm sure you're all questioning who the mastermind was. Now the big reveal's out. Did you get it right? Did you know all along? Did you use that little old noggin of yours? Figure it out through the investigation? I mean, it's okay if you didn't, because I feel like it's a pretty good plot twist, to be honest. You don't expect someone who's like supposed to be dead to come back and actually be like, hey, it wasn't me all along. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed that one. Hope to see y'all in part 2 of the Clash trial, baby.